Hey everyone. In today's video, we're going to take a look at extranet leaking with MPLS. This is a topic on the CCIE lab exam. So we're going to take a look at extranet leaking with export maps to see how we can make that a more granular, process, and also see what some of the problems are if we just do, route leaking as is. So I have this MPLS network here. It's very simple. What we are going to focus on though is this router down here, router 5, and actually let me change the size of my pen, router 5, and it's going to be sending routes through BGP up here to router 1. By default, these routes are only going to come down here to the other customer, which is R7. We are going to configure leaking so that there is a loopback on here, which is the all 5s/32 loopback. And we are going to make sure that this router 6 here, even though it is in a separate VRF, a separate customer, we're going to configure leaking so that it can get to this 5.5.5.5 address. So the first thing we're going to do is let's just go ahead and configure, general leaking of all routes from 5 to 6. So I have my secure CRT up here. And if we take a look at the show run VRF blue, we get a lot of information, but what we really care about is right here, which is our route target export and our route target import statements. So the way I have it configured is that it's just using 57:57 for both the export and import. So on router 4 over here, which is the PE on the other side, I'm going to go ahead and do a little more configuration. And let's make it a little bit larger for you. Okay. So we need to go into the VRF, which is VRF red. And actually, before I do, let me just go to 6 and just show you what the BGP table looks like. And we just have router 6's loopback and router 8's loopback, which makes sense. Those are both the red customers. So now I'll go in here and I will do a route target import, and I'm going to import that 5757. All right, so this is now telling this router that if a route comes in with a route target of 5757, import it into this VRF. So let's go back to router 6. Let's see if that took effect, and it did not. So I'll go ahead to router 4, and let's just do a clear IP BGP soft out. All right, now we can go to router 6, and now we see we have 5, 6, 7, and 8, which are all the customer routers. So that's how route leaking is done. You just, you import the route target that you're looking to import. The problem here is that when I said I want to reach router 5's loopback of 5555, I imported all the routes from VRF red, including this 7, which is router 7 over here. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. So let's go back into VRF definition red. And let's get rid of that route target statement. So one of the things I could do is I could go here onto R1 and I could configure, let's say, a different route target. So I could say, let's export this route target with, 57::5, and then on here, import 57::5. So let's try that and let's see what happens there. We need to go back to router 1. So on router 1, we'll go into VRF blue. And in this VRF, what we could do now is we could do a route target export 57::5. So this will take any routes in VRF blue and export them that way. and export them with that route target attached. So now if I go back to the other side, router 4, now I can go into VRF definition red, and I could route target, if I could spell today, route target import 57:5. Again, let me clear IP, BGP, soft out. Let's head over back to router 6. Let me just do one more BGP over here. Clear IP, BGP, soft out. So let's take a look at the show BGP VPN v4 unicast. I just want to make sure that we are receiving the route for 5. And what we will do is we will do RD 5757 and then the prefix, and we can take a look at which route targets it has. And we can see here we have 57.5 and 57.57. So now on router 6, now we have it. So that's one way to do it. Now, the problem with this is that if I go to router 5, which is the customer, and I say, conf t, let's say interface loopback 192, and I'll give it an IP address of, hold on, let me, 192.168.1.5, and we'll give it a slash 24. So this is a very common, common prefix. And what I'll do now is I'll go into BGP and I'll just advertise that route. Network 192.168.1.0 mask is going to be /24. All right, so now if I go to router 6, now I automatically receive that route. So there's really no granularity here. Whatever router or whatever routes R5 is going to be advertising, it's just going to be blasting everywhere. And from Red's point of view on router 6, maybe I don't want to hear about 192.168.1.0. Maybe that's one of my prefixes. Maybe I really only need to hear about this 5 network. So, for whatever reason, like I need to get there for a firewall or whatever business reason you can come up with. So this is where the export map comes into play. So what we'll do is let's go back to router 1, so this PE over here, and let's get rid of that last export. So we're going to VRF definition blue. Let's say no route target export 57.5. Unable to remove extended community. Do show run section VRF definition blue. I may have already removed it. Okay, it's not there. I had to pause the video for a moment, and I think I might have removed it when I paused it. Anyway, so now you can see all we have is the route targets for 57:57. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and create a prefix list. This prefix list we'll just call R5. It doesn't really matter. We'll say it's sequence 5 permit 5555/32 because this is the only prefix that we want to allow over to red R6 over there. So now we do a route map. So this route map we'll just call export map. It again, doesn't really matter, whatever you need to call it. We'll permit 10, and we'll match the IP address for prefix list R5. Now what we'll have to do is set the extended community. And you can see the one that we are really going to look for is route target extended community. So we'll do RT 57.5. Exit. Let's just do a route map, export map, permit 20, just to allow everything else. Now we have to apply the export map. Where that is done is under the VRF definition blue, and it's actually under the address family. Address family, IPv4 unicast. Under here, you can see we have a few options. What we're really looking for is VRF export. So export, we could do either IPv4 or map. Obviously, in our case, we're going to do a map, and then we'll do the map is export map. So now, let's go ahead and we'll do a clear IP BGP soft in just to speed things up for the purposes of the lab. And let's do a show VPN v4 unicast. RD is going to be 5757, and we'll do 5555/32. Sorry, show BGP VPN v4. You guys are probably saying that. So now you can see our extended community is 57.5, which is great because if we go to R6 and we show IP BGP, now we see R5. The problem here is that if you notice on this route, the only extended community I have is 57.5, which means if I go down here to R7, let's go to R7. R7 no longer has the route. This is because on R4, which again is the PE on this side, if I show run VRF blue and we go up, we're only importing 5757. And on this route, our only extended community is 57.5. So the reason this happened is because when we created this, here, I'll just show run section route map. When we created this route map, what we actually did was overwrite the extended community with 57.5. This is the only community it'll be sent with. If we want to add the community, what we need to do is, and let's just go into the route map here. This set community RT57.5, there's another keyword which is additive. Add to the existing community. So we don't want to just overwrite it because we still want the blue router to, all the blue routers to get the route. So let's clear IP BGP soft in again. And now let's look at the route, which is here. And now you can see it has the 57.5 and the 57.57. So if we go back to R6, we are receiving the route. If we go to R7, R7 is also receiving the route. So the export lists are, the export maps are a really useful feature. It's just a way to apply route maps to your export statements pretty much. And you can see how well it works with leaking here. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one.